Another episode of the Fat Cats podcast. I hope my stomach is not hiding this guy.
It looks like a rhino squalish.
On the melee on Saturday, the guy Aswapunu was hiding. So
We
I
shall
hope I'm
ask
not
the
hiding
ref.
him
We
here.
shall ask the ref.
We'll ask the ref.
Yeah.
Okay, another episode of the Podcast podcast. We have a litter of cats to discuss the events of the weekend. I don't know why the water is a little bit blue and then the bananas are yellow, but I think the producer had something
that's a
in
nice
mind.
one.
Had something in mind. Okay, I'll start with the usual guys. We have Caesar, KOBS fan. We need to put some markers on these things when we discuss so that you know each other's bias. Edwin, Eden's fan, and Victor of the weekend. We have Bruno, who has some events to discuss at KPA. Some videos have been dropping, like, I don't know. Dexter is a retired guy. We have a touch tournament on the weekend, and when it was last year, he was rounded, but he'll explain why he was rounded.
He just couldn't see the guy, man.
And then we have a player of KOBS. He has been around for nearly 10, 15 years. Have I given a correct description? He has played schools rugby. He has played shield rugby for summer camp, now Warriors. And then KOBS, he has been a mainstay in KOBS for quite some time. He has also donned his colors for the national 15s team. Remember that try against Namibia?
Mm-hmm.
He has been a fixture also in the Uganda Sevens. That's why we call him the Hong Kong. Can you finish that one? The red what? The red rat from Hong Kong. Because he scored a try in Hong Kong. Joseph Aredo, good to have you here.
Thanks.
Yes. So we'll go straight into it. Guys, what are bananas for you? Let's go into it. The weekend action. Rugby. You have seen the headlines, or should I say the back pages of the New Vision, the Observer, as well as the Monitor. It quite paints a picture that was grim for those who did not watch, but for those who watched and those who played, they'll tell us their views and whatever. But maybe let's start with our guest here. Joseph, tell us what it is like to play against competition like Heathens. Be very careful that Union sends someone's day in, day out.
Day in, day out.
I don't want you to skirt into things that can get you problems.
I mean, we've had this discussion very many times. Them's games against KOBS are one of those games we're excited about. We always want to showcase who is better in what position and our plays and tactics. So for us, it's one of those challenges we get to face with a lot of excitement and vigor.
Yeah, you appeared on NBA Sports, I remember, during the week to discuss your chances again in that game.
He was
And-
able to wake up at 7.
Yeah, man, and he trained that morning, you know, eh? Me, I had my socks on and I was like round 2 of sleep, but the guy was in the studio. You did mention that despite the fact that you're missing players, you know how to structure your game plan to suit the game. It trained that weekend. Oh, I think your Friday trained. Would you tell us what goes through the camp's mind when you go to Estadio El what?
This
The Swapnu. Yes, what happens when you get to play on a somewhat damp pitch, considering even stadions and box played before?
Well, I think very lucky that the sun came out a bit earlier during the Stallions and Box game. So the pitch was able to get a little bit dry, but not in the best condition. We've had games there where we cannot differentiate between KOBS and Heathen's kit, and we've been able to regardlessly play. But over the weekend, I believe things didn't go our way, much as we would have wanted to maximize on certain calls and and we're unable to. But I guess it's sports. So the best we can do is capitalize on the weather, your plays, and your players' abilities.
Yeah, you mentioned players' abilities. You managed to score all KOBS points, so I think the man is able. Caesar,
Yo,
you're from the weekend.
mm,
Your stadio. Tell us, how was the game?
the game was really good. Started with a box stallions game, which was really interesting. Like a typical reserve match, ended 3-0, I think.
Yeah.
So, well, then go to the big game. The game was good. Cubs was in control all through. Heathens was able to hold, to control or condense the pressure that Cubs brought to them. Very many people were worried online with our players who went to Hong Kong and all that stuff. But man, the people that started that game, I mean, I think it's testament to those players, but also to our coaching team, that our team, whatever team we can field, will show up and, do the damage. Man, we attacked Heathens, but Heathens was able to condense the pressure, and then they score fast. They score there. Man, that game was good. It was really, really good. Heathens played like United. They condense the pressure, then counter. Just, I mean,
How does United now
yeah,
come?
United catching strays. Eh?
yeah. They condense. They played at United, and things went well for them.
My mom who
In
supports
fairness,
Newcastle
we've
is
been
laughing
all
at you
engulfed
at
in
this point.
controversy. We forgot to talk about the good quality of rugby that there was on Saturday.
Yeah.
The pitch was so nasty, but man, guys were very few knock-ons. Guys were good under the ball. Man, the quality of the match was really good from the players, the biggest stakeholders of rugby. But of course, we've been discussing this all week about what happened, the unconfirmed influence the ref had on the game in a not so good way. From my point of view, I have my own views. You have your own views as a
Yes.
Heathens fan. So,
Which not so good way.
I mean, it's a untold biases and unconfirmed biases. Well, we have lawyers on the set. We can't discuss issues until they are done. And union told us that they are investigating, so we shall comment about them after investigation. But all in all, bar the inconsistencies of the man in the middle, the ref, the game was really nice. And well, if nothing changes, kudos to Heathens for the match.
Bruno, you guys at Pirates usually like saying that the clash between Heathens and KOBS is a boring affair. Caesar has highlighted the quality of rugby that was displayed by both teams, but the refereeing calls and whatever that we'll later on discuss. What do you have to say about the quality? You watched a bit of the game and then you ran to your home ground where you don't parent.
I'll let that slide. I think growing up also, when some of us got into watching rugby and falling in love with the sport, the Lions Cup has been the best game in the league. Whether in the league or Uganda Cup or even a clash in the sevens.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's interesting. The sevens are interesting in any way. Whether, let's say, Cubs are playing Eagles, it's still interesting. That's the bit of sevens. But the Lions Cup has been a bigger game, though we've now grown into the game, and for some other issues of maybe home advantage or hosting rights, and then the issue of the internet and the fan base growing from either camps.
Yeah.
Some of us now find a Cobs versus Pirates game more interesting than the Lions Cup. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because some of the players in both camps have played together for some good time. So a player like Kopa will do a thing. Justin Kimono will do a thing in the game that they've done over time. Wokos will do the same. Gama will come on and do the same that we've watched for over a decade. But from the fantastic experience of the sports, I feel like now a Cobs versus Pirates game is is more fun than the Lions Cup.
Dexter, Dexter,
Yeah.
the Pirates was formed in the 90s, eh? So they want to enter the circle of those big boys of Heathens of the 60s. I don't know when Heathens
A
was
person that
incorporated.
was born in the 90s is now 30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're hating on guys who have been in the 60s. We'll need to check with our producer when Heathens was founded, but I'm sure it was way before Pirates.
In a nutshell, what Bruno is saying, Pirates Corps is a game of young people playing against each other. Heathens chaps are old,
They're
man.
old. Eh?
So,
We need to carbon date those guys and see how old they are.
so that's what he's trying to say, really.
Dexter, could this be talking about the quality of rugby? Is it more of a discussion of playing style that makes a Lion Cup fixture more, should I say, competitive? It's really a game of fine margins as opposed to the free flowing affair that is Pirates and Cobs when they meet each other.
I have a friend,
Yeah,
and actually he's known. He must be known to all of you. Jose,
Mm.
my best man.
yeah,
Friday night, he told me that game is going to end 13-all.
yeah,
And well, he's an analyst. He likes to analyze these
Yeah.
things. I said, those are your things. This is a Cobs win, sure.
yeah,
But at the back of my mind, I knew that's where the score would circulate. I knew
Yeah.
it would be just something around that. When you say the playing style and everything, I agree. Cobs versus Pirates, these are teams when they are at their best, they will unleash. They have ball playing backs
Mm.
who like to run with the ball. Both teams,
Yeah.
both Cobs and Pirates. Whereas Heathens have the clear split.
Anyamo.
They have the big guys,
yeah.
the pack.
One way.
Hey, one way. One
Yeah.
way. A guy will see you, will see the gap, is like, wow.
Wow.
Kenyans.
You get
Yeah.
and so that boards into the kind of gameplay the guys will always have. You saw a clear example. Heathen's first try, I think.
Mm.
It was a proper set piece kind of thing. I think it was a back in or something.
Yeah, it was
They
a back in.
They did a very nice thing there. 9, 10, and then 11 comes into the mix. And the guy carried 12, carried my man here.
He's the one who put him down.
Hey, he's
actually.
not put him
yeah.
back after several
After
meters.
they carried
He took 10, carried 12, and then I think fought, and then
Yeah.
that quick ball out.
The forward, you mean?
Forward,
Whatever you want to call it. Quick ball out. Still same side. Same side, and you have the try.
Okay.
For me, that's the kind of thing. Now that's the split. Now, if it were Cobs, I'm certain that at that breakdown, you would have a Manano
Yeah.
ready to either be the one carrying and releasing out,
Yes.
or so that's the kind of thing. For them, they are that athletic. You find the same in Pirates.
Yeah.
You will not have a number 9 and 10. Before you know it, you'll just see a Desire running in when they are available. Of course, you will see Alex. You saw it in the first
Yeah.
first leg.
Yeah.
Pirates, Pirates Cobs. I mean, you're thinking, okay, fine, we have this covered. Then you see Alex carrying on the wing. You're like, what is he doing there? And he's torturing our 13, 14, and 15. So that kind of setup really influences how the two teams play. Cobs Heathens is, you could call it a dull affair. It's a tactical, like purely
Technical.
technical.
play.
I mean, we are going to do this. We're going to do this. Both coaches are that kind, but even if it's not the coaching department, whenever it comes to the basics, they play. You can't go through me. You can't go through me. Pirates, if you want to play them that way, you will chase shadows all through. So that's the
But
case.
Bruno, I need to ask you a question
Yeah.
before you take that club of yours. They must be running every day. Those guys can be running every day. They are ants. You hear like he's talking about Atrinda is at the wing, you see him in the middle. You see, wow, they don't get tired. They only want to sort these chaps out. Bang them.
Bang
then they
them.
will contain. They have guys who can bang also.
Yeah.
But then when you put them that bang, you take away the ball from that short man,
Yeah.
that scrum half.
Yeah.
You will beat. But Heathens, ask Heathens first leg. I thought they can run. How do you run against 20-year-olds now? You have fought. My God.
I think it was part of the recruitment after the treble.
Yeah.
If you realize after the treble, I don't know why. I think it was a transition of in some lives of players who won the treble. Some were were done with university, some were getting jobs up country, some were starting families. So most of the boys that came in after the treble were sevens boys, typically sevens boys. So I think also when Bobby was taking over, he more of received those young players who had to be trained, and they are not more of Kanyama rugby. But I like the transition because that is a seemingly different game from when the Pirates that was under Chinene, if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been our game. It's good that we have identity. I mean, we are 90s babies.
90s babies, eh?
Yeah.
You have 2000 babies playing on the team. Does Hiddens have any guy from 2000?
No chance. Hey,
No
Otema.
chance.
I think Otema is
Otema,
2000.
even okay, fair
Kato
point.
is young.
Mm,
Kato
even
Nicholas
Gokto.
is young.
Kato Nicholas, okay.
Kato who? Who?
Nicholas.
Excuse me.
Ah,
That's the 90s kid.
Okay, 90s.
Yes,
Okay, yeah. And we are
Yeah.
talking about 2000.
okay, back to the Mulama here. Okay, so let me bring in Aredo here. Dexter, you said the game is one of fine margins, and I want to highlight this. Starting from the Uganda Cup to the first leg, and now to this fixture that just ended over the weekend. You did notice that we had a very, very tight fixture in the sense that, baby girl, come, have a seat, come. You want a banana? Oh,
She didn't like heathen. She didn't like heathen.
It's like
I like it.
yeah.
Would you like some water?
No.
Oh, all right.
Uh-huh.
Let's just
Yeah,
stick to the
so
banana.
so let's go back. So Heathens and KOBS is a game of fine margins, right? So in doing so, what I want to ask you is that the previous scores from Uganda Cup, from the first leg and the second leg have been dictated by what you would say 2-3 points margin, either in victory or loss. So now, from a KOBS perspective, going into these games, are you mindful of such things, and how do you structure your gameplay to fit this narrative that these games are usually tight?
I don't think there's anyone who comes to play rugby not to score tries.
Mm.
We just kick. We're unfortunate that we missed our try scoring opportunities more than twice, but when we went to the boot, it worked for us. But the whole point for us is to make sure we score. So if we are short of that, what's the next best thing to do? Go for what? Points.
Okay. I do not, the KOBS social media handler, I think, made some remarks in respect to tries.
Do you know who that is?
Do you know that
Hey, no. I know there are two people involved, and I know them personally. So one of them posted, the other gave information. So now the information given was that KOBS had not scored a try at Chadondo for quite some time. You get?
Yes.
I think he said that 2018 or 2019, and then I think the last time they had a victory at Chadondo, I think, was back to 2014.
2014.
They'll post the screenshots of that. So now, going into a fixture like this and how tense it was, did you have moments in this game where, because we did watch the game and we noticed that there were decisions where you decided to opt for a scratch or a penalty, no, actually a scratch or a scrum, as opposed to getting your points? I mean, you're on fire, you've been kicking. Actually, this guy might have the most points.
No.
If you count all
Of the
fixtures.
But
Second.
No, I'm saying most points
Off the
in
boot.
this fixture.
Oh.
The last 3 games. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe that.
Yeah. So going ahead, how do you manage that narrative against your desire to score tries?
Like I said, we all go for tries. If we fall short, we go for the next best.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some opportunities were not given to us. The advantages were not given to us, so slow down our plays quite often. But like we said, if we don't get the try, we're going for the boot. And whenever we went for the boot, we got the points. We went back, we set, and attacked again.
Okay. Perfect. You have now gone into an area where we are not going to discuss. You talked about the advantages were not being given, and I think producer will put an emoji on his side so that we
Yeah.
can have the discussion. But in the event that he's summoned and is given a ban, he can come and stay at the Fred and Winnie B&B. You saw I snuck that in, eh? we have 10 self-contained rooms with a chef who can handle all your cooking needs. There's a kitchen in the event you don't trust the chef's hands. You can always cook yourself up a meal. If you are like me, you can boil water for yourself and say you've cooked something. We have Wi-Fi that can make you catch up with the events of the world. Of late, Trump has been. They were saying that
Is the new Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. They were saying that that the U.S. has arrested the opposition leader.
Exactly.
So you can catch up on that with the Fred and Winnie B&B Wi-Fi. There is also a power backup system and security, surveillance security that can make you feel safe at home. Ignore the border noise around here. Those are haters from I don't know where, but they usually interrupt our podcast. So if you are interested in booking your stay, kindly see the details below in the screen, and you'll can have a nice stay and give us your feedback on that. So where the emoji is here. We're now going to discuss the events of the weekend, particularly refereeing. Now, let me set that stage. We did have a space over the weekend where we discussed these particular aspects in respect to how particular calls did not go in favor of KOBS. And it begs the question, Caesar, why is it always you?
Well, for me, I can answer it this way. It's always me because I'm always at my games. I don't know whether other people don't watch their teams playing or, I don't know. Me, it's always me because I see what happens to my team because it's a team I watch.
Yeah.
And it's very, very unfortunate, and I want to go clear here and say it. It's very unfortunate that the whole country has concentrated on one incident, the one that happened at the end of the match and ended it prematurely.
Yeah.
But there were weird calls the whole game. Unfortunately, NBS Sport has brought some cameras and they've done well, but we don't have enough cameras on the pitch to get all the views all the time.
Yeah.
But very many things had been going on in the game. Still contentious, but I want to believe, because I was in line with Opa, that first try was a forward pass. I am very sure.
Okay.
Because I saw it. Calls like internationally and actually World Rugby, if teams go and coach set pieces because they want to take advantage of set pieces, we flatten the heathens from down.
Let me interrupt you. That call you're talking about, the forward pass.
Yes.
Did that judge on the closer side indicate that there was something of the sort?
I want to believe no. And I'm going to tell you why. Because by the time that pass was made, the third judge was behind the players. That guy was sleeping. He didn't even know. Anyway. If they ban. That guy was sleeping. By the time he came, the ref made the call for the try, and then he came to inquire from his third judge. That movement of going to that's when the guy was reaching. I know those guys are fast, but man, make some effort. The guy wasn't there. He wasn't stealing. I think he thought, this one is a done deal. Anyway, he wasn't there, so he couldn't have made that call. But neither could I, because I'm not party to the game at that moment. I can't tell Utimba, man, it was a forward and he changes his no.
Yeah. So you think Utimba's positioning could have allowed him to see it?
No. Unfortunately. So okay, you bring that aspect out.
Exactly.
You bring that aspect out. But man, this game, like we've said, is fine margins. We have to be able to be in position to see all the things. So okay, even if I attach the AR, is a what? AR is assistant referee. So I'm attacking refs. That game, that forward for the try, we we flattened the Heathen scrum down 99% of the time in the game. The 1% is in second half where they could hold their own now.
Yeah.
99%. That other prop, I keep forgetting, Bisaso.
Yes.
Bisaso. My God, Bisaso. That's one of his worst games.
Yeah.
But there was no single yellow card from the scrummage. No single yellow card. And we pride ourselves, you chaps who watch Super Rugby, I told you to stop watching those things. Because I am. Honestly, like, there was no card. There were scrum downs that happened back to back. The guy didn't. Offsides at the breakdown, offside at the rack is very hard. It's very hard, you know. It's very hard to judge those ones because they're fast, maybe. Then you give us an advantage in our 5. And Helen ably explained an advantage. If you don't get advantage, you can gain by gaining ground. You can gain by tactical decision making.
Tactical or territorial. Yeah.
Tactical territorial.
Yes.
That game, we took 2 phases. 1-2 phases. We didn't go anywhere. Heathens had one hell of a goal line defense. We didn't go anywhere. We stayed there, here in the corner. The next one, the guy ably said, advantage over. And I'm like, wow. But those are small calls that kept on building in the game. That last call, controversial as it is, was just a culmination of all these calls that were made that got the players agitated, got the fans agitated, and that's where we were. Apart from that, man, both teams really played well, but the ref ought to do a little bit better. I know he's human, and we human beings always make mistakes. Probably the guest we have here, Joseph, should have been able to take more penalties to the post because he really had his kicking boots that day.
Point at him. He's not here. We don't know him.
Okay. Maybe his kick, because Aredo's kicking was top notch that day. Maybe, like Bruno said, could have made decisions better as a club. Maybe we are also you can't go into someone's 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and don't get points. We're also to blame, really.
Yeah.
Let's not go fight. We could have closed off that game, and maybe all this wouldn't have mattered. Then my final submission. People say that last controversial call, Santos was already on the ground.
Yeah.
Santos was already on the ground by the time Osuna ripped the ball. And that's where they gave a penalty. But earlier on in the game, when we're in their 5,
that clip.
Justin took in the ball. They tackled him, very beautiful tackle.
Yes.
He was on his knees. And the man wanted to rip off his arms.
Exactly.
So what's the difference between that and the ref was there? He was next to them. He didn't say anything.
Yes.
So that inconsistency, if you say that was okay, then the other one should be okay, even when probably they are both wrong.
Yeah.
Lastly, and this is my issue, Amolo was a last man defender on the wing. We're passing, we had an overlap, we had a 2-on-1, we are releasing the ball, then Amolo slapped the ball.
Or attempted to get it.
Whatever it was, attempted to get it. But the fact that he got a yellow card means the ref adjudged it to be a penalty and a slap. But he was the last man. We were 2 against 1. If he slapped and he got a yellow card, that's a penalty try. We were going to score. Mutimba, penalty.
Scrum.
But you see, the ref was saving you. You're not scored a try from 2018, so that's why.
My point is, my issue is, you see those inconsistencies. They're basic rules, but no one is talking about that because we have an agenda.
Yeah.
No one is talking about all those silly calls. We're all concentrating on a call that all of us here have watched the clip. We all have different opinions on what happened. So even him, he should be cut some slack, whatever decision he made. But me, I want us to concentrate on those multiple decisions that he kept on tilting towards the other club. And, man, they disenfranchised the players. And, of course, that culminates into chaps refusing to play because, I mean, in their hearts, even when there are human error mistakes, in their hearts, they feel like it's being tilted. And you're a lawyer. Dexter is a lawyer. There's what they say about the law. The law not only has to be just, but has to be seen to be just. I think so, something like that. You will quote it better. But it has to be seen, perception.
Yeah.
Even if that guy is making mistakes, why is it that the mistakes are always advantaging a certain club all the time? all the time. That's when bias comes in, even when there's no bias.
You
Thank
see the
you.
club.
Okay, so I'll address the inconsistency in other decisions, but I want to bring in Dexter here. Dexter, the aspect of he mentioned that KOBS had chances to win the game. What is your take on that particular aspect? Majorly so, coming from a position where there are numerous opportunities to kill off this game, considering the weather conditions were not really favorable. Also, how you had that, that it was simmering that something like of that magnitude was going to occur. Not that it was premeditated, but you could have a sense that in a game of fine margins, something
Definitely.
of a nature will come.
I'll just start with the throwback.
Yeah.
Again, the other big game this season, Pirates KOBS. Pirates, they threw a sink at themselves. I mean, to quote Marvin that day, each threw a sink at themselves. They came all out, but KOBS had it, But when second half got midway, Pirates came and packed their bus, or rather their tank at the KOBS, inside the KOBS 22.
Their sheep.
Sheep, sheep. Sorry, Pirates. Funny stuff. They packed their sheep in there, and they just kept sending their cannons. Multiple penalties. Now, unfortunately, we kept conceding the penalties because these guys are in control of the ball. They just maintain. They just keep. And I remember Ivan came under heavy attack that day for refusing to take the kicks because he had the perfect boot, I believe. I remember he was on fire with his boot as well, and they kept. I think there were about 5 penalties inside. It went to where he would like, no, we go corner.
Yeah,
we go to the corner. They wanted to line out, scrum, try. Stuff didn't work until I remember Marvin running from wherever he was and just said, please take the kick.
Yeah.
And then they switched to kicking. Now, in similar fashion, we had that. And I told several people on Saturday that we had the game. We had the game outright. If you watch it from the start to the end, we were all over Heathens. I think they kept saying, man, I don't know how up to now they are saying it. We survived that game. Any Heathens player you met and fan you met, a genuine person, they will tell you this was a KOBS win. But unfortunately, when we got in their area, because of that belief and superiority, I can get the try.
Yeah.
So the guys kept going. Penalty. My man who's not here, I remember, so sure he was going to say, no, we're going to kick. He's not here, unfortunately.
Just him away because
the guy,
we fear
went and
sanctions.
scratched the ball. I said, but indeed. And like Edwin has said, the moment, and you just keep thinking, the moment these guys switch and just get to their half, to the KOBS half, something is going to happen and it will be a penalty. Indeed, it happened. So that's the case. I mean, such a game, you want to make sure that you can kill any opportunity you get. If you have the best kicker in the world, use him. Take the kicks. You have the best scrummage, go for the corner. Win that line out and do it. Fortunately, I mean, that day also unearthed some. I don't know why we're all focusing on this game, but that game unearthed a game in a gentleman called Trevor Minor.
Yeah.
Trevor Minor is a chap I groomed in high school. Yes. Caesar, I have a...
But now, if you groom him and Kakuru grooms him,
yes,
and
it was a team.
Him,
it was a team.
It's a pie chart
It's
of
a team.
grooming.
You think you just come for...
Venn diagram.
Even Joseph Aredo groomed him. And now they're playing on the same team.
All right.
That gentleman had, I think, the best game of his career so far.
Groomed.
The KOBS kit. Small man, but you can't go through him. He shot those guys.
Yeah.
Those are the advantage, the positives we got from that game. They are very big positives. We had a very good. I mean, you saw the park. We were all over. I mean, this season has been KOBS throughout. Our park has been top notch. So for me, those are the positives I'll take, and I must say we
maybe before Bruno comes, I also want to make mention of Heathens. Heathens came to our half 3 times. They scored 3 times. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Like we contained them, then they came to our half 3 times. They scored 3 times. That's clinical. I always talk about Opa. Man, did you watch Opa in that game?
I did.
What a player.
Yeah.
What a number 10. I want to come out and say this. Opa really, really played well in that game. very calm, very composed. His kicks were top notch, distance covered. Man, I want to mention Opa. And then their clinical thing of coming to our half
Yeah.
and they score every time they're there. I want to also make mention that. Bruno.
Yeah. Producer, please bring out that screenshot of Caesar when he said when Oforioth is not going to be around, we're not going to play any rugby. I'll put it there when he has just said that.
Opa, man.
So Bruno, the refereeing aside, you did note that Heathens were a little bit on the back foot when it came to attacking KOBS, and they brought on Nicolas Cato, and the man changed the game. And you could see even the video we've been seeing, which caused the controversial call, that was the mountaintop of all these calls that had been simmering. You could see him leading the charges on the pick and drive and whatever. What do you have to say about his performance?
I watched the game.
Yeah.
Most of the game before I crossed to KPA to watch mine. But when I saw the lineup, when I saw guys coming through the tunnel to the pitch, I didn't understand why Gamma started ahead of Kato at 9 at scrum half. I want to believe maybe it was because this is Lions Cup. You have to bring in some good experience. I'm not saying Kato is not experienced, but I saw a ball that would not move faster from the scrum and even through the center to allow Opaz make the real good basics that he does. From the start, I was seated to Raymond.
Yeah.
I was asking him, the Heathen's ball is not moving. And then, why are these guys, the KOBS guys, not scoring faster before these guys come for them, before Nicolas Cato comes on? I want to believe Kato's the substitution that brought on Kato for Gamma was a momentum brought into the game, and that's when the ball started moving properly. That aside, I want to believe KOBS have been scoring way more points than any other club in the previous games. I haven't been watching all the games because I have to catch the Pirates games most. But I was asking myself, why are these guys attacking more and having chances, especially in the first half, but are not scoring? Why are these guys having chances of points, but are going for other ways? For example, the chances of going for poles, the penalties. I didn't understand, and it's a thing like Dexter said in the Pirates versus KOBS game, the decision making on pitch, quick one, even before the captain turns to see maybe if anyone on the technical bench is advising. That decision making right there, next to the ref, before the ref asks, what is your decision? Are you going for a scrum, line out, pause, or you want to scratch? I believe that decision was key, and in that game, I don't know, I think KOBS were try-thirsty at Chadi. I mean, since 2014. But that decision-making lagged them behind. That aside, I would also call out some bad calls that were in the game a number of times, especially when Amolo came on.
Yeah.
You realize Amolo's yellow card, he had just entered the game. By the status of Chadi, his kit was still clean.
He hadn't tested in the swamp.
He hadn't even fallen down. So that slap to me was intentional.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I stood. I was off the bench because, I mean, that was a clear penalty try. Because Amolo himself had been given a card,
Yeah.
only to see the scrum.
Wow.
I
Okay.
did get
So
that.
on the inconsistency call, I think that was the holding on the other side of when KOBS was attacking.
Yeah.
Actually, that could be a ground to clearly say that the ref was not consistent. I think that was a very, very either you grant the penalty on this side or you don't.
On the other side, however,
Yeah.
I disagree with Caesar.
Yeah.
Caesar was in the stands.
Yeah.
I was at the grounds before him.
Yeah.
He came to
He's not the
say,
best pitch
yeah,
view.
he came to say hello where I was sitting before going to the stands.
I was in the English corner.
Yes, I was right.
I was in the English corner.
I was right at the try line.
And I was next to the guy scoring because I was in the English corner.
Why do you know what
You're
I'm
near
going
the
to say?
TJ.
I know what he's going to talk about. He's
The
going to
guy
talk about the
talk.
forward.
The guy
I know what he's
talk.
going to talk about.
Hey.
You guys, I was so keen.
No, you
Pass
weren't.
to Gokto.
Was Kawa.
It was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't a forward.
Oh my God.
Just let's get footage and we move on.
Caesar sees the forward because there was an overlap already. So
I mean,
it was a ball in the space.
hey,
But
We are
to
very
me,
lucky.
It was a clear try.
There's no KOBS
but
player
okay,
here.
let me tell
Otherwise,
you.
they would deny.
let me
don't
tell you,
deny,
Bruno.
And the TJ wasn't as far as he's saying.
Bruno. Oh, he was so far. Oh my God, Bruno.
That was a clear try.
Okay.
There's a
Okay.
clip.
Okay.
There's a clip
Uh-huh.
going around of
The
that
clip.
thing.
Yes, the Kawa
And,
clip.
and I'm
Yes.
sure the Kao clip
We
covers
need
some
another
part.
angle. We need
No,
another
we don't.
angle.
We need another angle. But now I'm talking about the TJ. Let's analyze that clip after the.
Yeah,
after,
we'll
oh
put it on
my
our
God, that
socials.
TJ. The guy had forgotten he was working.
But
But Opa is an honest man.
Yeah.
Opa is an. Mubisela bye byedembe and
Yes.
he's even fan. He's a kawa guy. He's an honest. Mwana
Say, mwana, na
kabwa.
kuye
He will tell you. He
we
will
should
tell
get
you.
to Opa on the
Now let's go into
podcast.
the next segment. I would like to introduce our guest. He hasn't been here the whole period. He's the second top scorer in the league with 85 points. That's Joseph Aredo. So Joseph Aredo, we're now going to discuss schools rugby. We have the painful sight over the weekend, that will be Saturday, to watch Smack appear in all three finals and Namiriango appear in one. So Caesar 1, Namiriango 0.
Yes.
The Namiriango
I feel like
boys
that
zero.
is three.
Mr.
No,
Mutebi 1,
3-1.
Bizimana 0.
Mr.
I feel like that's Come on.
Yes, so ideally, I'm just looking for my fixtures here. So I'm using Smack Art, so please forgive me. So we have the final Saturday, 8th April at Graveyard. We'll have under 15 Smack playing Budo at 10 a.m. We will have under 17 Smack against Namiriango. I think after that we will go home for Easter. And then we have under 20 Smack versus Han at 2 p.m. Now, I'm just going to rush through. I mean, the time is not on our side. And you can see the Kampala Netflix and children weather is starting. So
Yeah.
we need to get a move on this. Caesar, what was your thought on Smack over the weekend? Just wrap it up.
Well, in a nutshell, they played really well as I expected them to play. I was really worried because Marcos, this season Marcos looked good, then stopped being good. It was really hot and cold. So I was worried that my boys, since we got to know that we weren't going to meet Budo, which was a team putting down the good scores, I felt that they would get complacent. But their head coach assured me, their captain assured me, we talked to them and they were ready to clean up and play their game. Of course, there were skirmishes in there, and Marcos really shocked me. They really played some good rugby. They were just playing an indomitable lion. My God. The boys really, really played well. Very structured, very focused. Those schools league kids are the ones that watch Super Rugby and put it in, not us. Us, we waste
Us,
it.
we're on vibes, eh?
But the game was well. Game was well
you're
played.
not playing,
Marcos
so-
did well, but the kids also came up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very, very good game on Saturday because Hannah, we are going to comment about Hannah. Hannah really brought some mature rugby.
Yeah.
Really brought some mature for Budo. That was, I want to believe, the most structured team in the league.
Yeah.
Budo. Even when you would see them play, they really played with structure. They know what to do. They are coached by the best coach in the land. So they're really
Debatable, but go on.
No one beats Brian Makalama.
Okay,
We cannot debate on anything.
Yes.
So they are coached by one of the best coaches in the land.
Yeah.
So I expected that. But Hannah, we played Hannah home and away in the league, in the group stages, SMAC. My God, Hannah brought some other rugby in the semi-final. Mature approach, very calm, composed. The kicker was as if Aredo, Joseph reborn.
Hasn't Hannah beaten you in the this is
And we beat them, they beat us. So
at your home?
Eh?
They beat at your
And
home?
we beat them at their home.
You can't say you beat Hannah at their home.
What do you mean? They don't have a home?
The loss at Smack is bigger.
Well, yeah, you can say. The way they lost at
1-0.
Wellington is bigger. But anyway, my point is this. To finalize, it's going to be a very good game. Very good tactical game. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay, Red, you played in a final. It was Swampuno style also. Your
Yeah,
first team
very
was
bad.
Swampuno.
Yes, very bad.
Yeah. So tell us your thoughts, and we wrap this up. We had done on rain as well.
I believe we're going to have a good final. I was able to watch Smack play the first round against Namilyango. Most of their senior fives that they didn't reported, but one guy who stood out was Matthew. His boot and his game reading is way up there. I believe with time we're going to have a very fine player with him. He was in box before he crossed to Stallions. So I was able to interact with him for a couple of days before. And watching him play the way he plays is actually beautiful. I've seen the number 8 Smack play. He's very good at what he does.
Bogele, yeah.
He's good at what he does. Hannah, I've seen most of them play in Stallions before they went back to school. And,
I don't piano.
and to me, this whole debate of them not playing just because they're in an academy is not making
Rubbish.
sense. Because
Rubbish.
for us to develop good players, we need them to be associated to something good. So for me, I believe we are going to have a good final over the weekend. And like Caesar says, Hannah's been playing some beautiful rugby. I was able to catch some highlights on the Union page, and they look like they know what they're doing.
Okay, predictions. Let's just run. And let's take it to under 20. Smack Hannah.
We're going to Smack is going to win 10-5.
Smack Hannah.
Hannah.
I thought you were Smackist these days. I saw you were supporting
No,
Smack.
he's
on
a
the
Rayon.
TL.
He's a
He's a
Rayon.
ruffian, eh?
He's a Rayon.
Okay, Smack Hannah.
Namilyango is going to beat Suma under 17.
Under 17. You.
I'm going to watch rugby.
You're going to watch
I'm
rugby.
going to watch rugby. I'm
Smack-
not in the final.
I predict Smack will take under 15
Yes.
and under 17.
Yes.
Then Nana will take under 20.
I want them to get a clean triple L.
Triple L.
I have my memes ready. You guys took us out, so this is revenge. This is personal. Yes. Maybe let's.
The rain has gone. so
Rain
we
has
can-
has gone. So let's just dive into elections a little bit. I'm just going to read out the posts and ask Caesar which one he's going for. So we have the elective positions for rugby union. We have president, vice president, commercial, vice president, technical, secretary, treasurer, executive member, age grade and development, executive member, upcountry, executive member, women. That is the URU AGM 2023 that will be hosted, I think, after the Heathens Pirates fixture. Dexter.
Who are the competitors? I don't know who are the
What
guys
I know
standing
is
up
that there is
for these
a
positions.
president, there is
Godwin Kayangwe and
there
Philip
is
Kiboijana.
Philip Kiboijana. We hosted Philip Kiboijana for a podcast. We also intend to host
Matthias Ochoa.
president.
And Matthias Ochoa.
Yes,
for the
Matthias
players.
we intend to host the president as well, and depending on his schedule, and then also Matthias Ochoa.
We should host Matthias Ochoa.
Shouldn't someone be a shadow president?
Shadow
among the
president.
three?
There are some guys who are in the running. We have Sama, there is Rojomba. We'll fight there over there.
And
Then
Zeno.
Adra will be VP.
So
Then
vice
VP
president.
technical, I'm told that Zeno Wara is trying to throw his hat in there
Yes,
alongside Eric
Butime.
Butime. Yes, VP commercial, we have Peter Magona. I don't know if that's going to
No,
change.
they said he wasn't standing. He changed his mind?
I think he's going to run.
Okay.
Treasurer, I'm told that is Rubas,
Rubas.
And Cloud.
Claude seems he might have moved to some
Secretary?
other. No. Commercial.
Commercial.
Oh,
I'm also
Vice
told
President.
Regina
Vice
Onyoro is
President
running
commercial.
for secretary as well.
There's a
So I
rumor.
think may be running with Peter Odong, who
But
is
isn't it
incumbent.
funny that we
That's
are
for
dealing
secretary.
with rumors? An election that is 3 weeks away.
No, they are at a stage of picking forms. So
Okay.
you
So
can only
maybe
know on the
after
deadline. Yeah.
So when
Keep
is the
your socials on
deadline?
after Easter
we
chicken,
shall know.
we will know who is
We shall
running and
know.
who is
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the part of elections. We hope to have that communication out from the union. But there was one communication that came out from the union we have not discussed.
Bans?
The one, that one. Greetings. We are aware about the issues arising out of Premiership games from various venues on 1st April. It was a fool's day, but man, it was crazy.
But somehow they say
we have these incidents being investigated by the league management committee, and we'll issue a statement within the shortest time possible. This was on Monday.
Shortest
Edwin.
time.
This was, I think,
time.
this was on Sunday.
Sunday.
You know,
Sunday.
we
but
have-
somehow they say cops cry babies. They
You
said
know- Yes.
various venues.
Yes, exactly.
Various
That's probably the
venues.
thing. We have,
But
we
we are
have
concentrating
pirates.
on
We had
Cobbs.
about
Big is
rhinos,
big.
rams,
Rhinos, Rams.
legends.
there
There
is-
was also something funny.
For-
there.
And
for some
100
reason-
methods that are protecting
For some
King's
reason,
Park.
chaos. I understand most of the fans online are more interested in the chaos part that happened at some of the stakeholders and legends.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk
Coming
are
on
we
the
allowed to
pitch.
talk-
Let
are we
me finish, Caesar. Let me finish. Coming
big.
on pitch.
Big is
Coming
big.
on pitch.
on pitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
At Chadondo
Yes.
and Kings Park Arena.
Yes.
But I also understand there are issues of poor refereeing,
Yeah.
even at the graveyard,
Yeah.
cited in the Impis versus Mongers game.
Okay.
Same happened at Chadondo. Of course, that led to the other. Same happened at Kings Park. Worst of it being a penalty that was right in between the poles, but wasn't awarded.
Yeah.
So you guys are more interested in the
Welcome,
chaos.
welcome,
But
welcome, welcome.
The union, I think, is more
I think-
concerned on the major issue, and if chaos any arising out of what is the biggest issue, what's the elephant in the room.
I think that's a classic case of consistency. I mean, all the grounds you've mentioned were
The
different.
keyword is what?
Incidents.
Consistency.
So there's
The ref.
consistency in the
But
refereeing.
shout out to Lucy for
Yeah.
standing in between Ogwete and what in the hell was she
What
about?
was she doing?
Shout out to
man.
her. She's big person.
Me.
Can I say something about the elections?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Me, and these are the views of Caesar and Konda, not Fat Cats.
Yeah.
But
I
you're fat.
want
Yeah.
leadership
Yes.
that will make us go away from the conflict of interest of TBWA and union.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
cannot
on that
have
note.
people who are in TBWA that controls our sponsorship
That are
and
the
then they're in our union. Thank you very much.
I'm
Caesar,
done.
which proof do you have? But we'll discuss that later.
You're my lawyer. You're my lawyer.
Let's just go into a quick trivia and then we
Yeah,
close.
we'll-
Aredo. Okay, let's go. Who is the what's the best try you've ever scored or been part of?
I believe Elgon Cup Legends. We are playing Kenya.
Which was that?
I remember the chicken wing from Michael.
Yeah.
That brought the comeback. Yeah, I remember that game. I thought you were going to say Namibia. The one where you ran like a rat on the highway. I knew you were going to use that. I have that clip. I will have it posted. So who's your best coach rugby?
I don't believe in coach. I would say coaches.
Okay, who are your best coaches you've ever been under?
And Fredo,
Uh-huh.
Kalama,
Yes.
and there's a gentleman from the English counties. Yeah, I done opportunity to coach with him, and He set us up for the first time we went for the Bamburi final. Yeah.
Okay. Now, lastly, this one is going to be very controversial. We want to hear. And this one, there is no saying over rugby, over me, over what. If you had a kick
Hey,
to save your life,
hey.
let's say halfway,
Mm.
who would you give it to kick?
Halfway. Joel Angulo.
Oh, okay.
Such an easy answer.
I concur.
I concur.
There was a time a child who used to also bang.
But Joe Langui was something
Joel
else.
Angulo, eh? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think we can stop here. I thought you would throw me and say Edwin.
And even the left pass you can't make.
The
We shall
left
see on
pass.
Friday if you have improved.
Okay, so this weekend, schools rugby finale. Don't miss out at Graveyard. Action will start at 10 a.m. and go on for the whole day.
The
I will
first
speak
game is at 12. It's at
10.
noon, yeah.
10 to 12, then
10 to
12 to 2, then 2 to 4.
Yeah.
So I will not speak for Fatcast, but I hope Smack loses all games. I will eat my words gladly. I'll eat my humble pie if they win all. We will update on our socials if there's been a treble, a clean sweep by a school in events of this nature. Keep it Fatcast. Thank you for watching. And Netflix and children weather has started, so we're out. See you till next
Aye.
time. Happy Easter.
Happy
Edwin.
Easter.
You haven't told guys about the Fat Cats featuring on Friday Touch.
Podcast featuring on Friday Touch. Yeah. Oh,
Good Friday
sorry.
touch.
Let me undo my closing. Yeah, we will be Friday Touch, Good Friday tournament. We have had podcasts who have appeared before in this tournament, notably finishing second in one of the editions. We were beaten by the guys, they call themselves the dumbbell cheaters. That had Jemo, it had Mahmoud, it had Machuba. When I was still small,
There's no Bachuba in touch.
Was
when I was
Antaredo
still
there?
small, no, Gab was there. Gab was there. Actually, I chased Ijogat and then I pulled the hamstring. Then I got out. And it's because Raymond was thinking about me instead of chasing. So I had to do my work. I got the hamstring. We lost the game. There was another one where we played and we considered many tries. The recent edition at Kings Park, we drew 2 games, lost 3. No, we lost 3. We lost 7-0.
You see,
We lost 7-0 to Macmon's team. Then we lost to Arua Quarters, I think 3-2. Yeah,
We beat
lost
Arua Quarters.
No, we drew. We never won a game.
That's the one where they rounded you.
Yeah, that's yeah. So
Fine margins.
This tournament, I'll be the TM. So
you're
the
playing.
TM. So let's hope we can get some results. So again, Good Friday Touch. There's something in Ginger as well. Schools rugby on Friday.
On
Saturday, sorry, and then Sunday we'll be eating food.
And welcoming the risen Lord.
Yes, and welcoming the risen Lord. Yes, yeah, I need a salad.
Caesar salad.
Caesar salad.
Not you.
So from the podcast, this time we're signing out for good. So see you next time and follow our social media handles for more information about Ugandan rugby.
Right.
Happy
then.
Easter.
Happy Easter.